to another episodic podcasting adventure. It's Talkamania.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episodic adventure. It is Le Talkamania, and I am your co-host Des, here with my better half, the Boozerweight. Well, we'll see. I don't know. Is he boozing these days, J-Bomb? What's up, man?
I've been a good boy, man. It's
Still riding it, eh?
still riding the wave, that's for sure. The Boozerweight is retired for the month of October, and it's been going pretty good.
And then you're gonna grow a mustache next month for November?
I can't grow a mustache.
Well, I can see a little bit of some little pepper flakes on your upper lip right there.
Look, I got my neck beard going. Makes me a smart, right?
I think that's the itchiest part of a whole beard. That's kind of what keeps me from growing my beard a lot of time. Just like when you move your head up and down, it just...
Dude, I don't even get itchy because I cannot grow it thick enough for it to get irritated. The only thing it does do, if I'm wearing like a zip-up sweater and I'm sitting down, my double chin comes out and then like it gets caught on the zipper, that does hurt.
Also, that haircut feeling, you have a good shave, and then you can just feel like whiskers are somewhere in the collar of your shirt, and you just can't get it out, and you had a shower, and you have a new shirt on, but it just won't go away.
Sound like George Costanza.
Oh, man, it drives me nuts. And I just had a nice clean shave, too, so
Ooh, look
it's
at
good.
you.
And it feels good, man. If having a beard is nice, but that satisfying feeling when you finally have that clean shave, it's just, it's so nice.
Oh yeah, you do have a clean shave. That's true. You leave the little bush under the lip, eh? You like it?
I do. I got a little bit of a landing stripe right here, a little landing. Come on, right there. You can sit there, ladies. Sit there.
It's a flavor saver, right?
Oh, sure. That's a good name for it. Why not? It's a little tickler.
Oh, fuck me. Did you check out NXT and AEW tonight?
Hey, man, you know me. I am a man who likes to go at things three-way. So, yes, absolutely. NXT, AEW was definitely checking the both of them out tonight. Got my tablet, and I had my big screen up as well. Kind of switching back and forth from the segments as I was like, damn, Jericho's promo. Damn, we have Moxley going. Oh, I wanted to see the Cruiserweight match. So I'd kind of go back and forth. And, man, it's I don't know if I can do this for the long haul. We're going to see what goes on. But it's like I feel like, Clockwork Orange, where the guy has his eyes kind of like stuck open and he's got to input all that psychotic imagery. It's like there's so much wrestling just pumping into my veins.
I have never seen that movie. Is it worth watching?
Probably. I would say so. I liked it. I think it's a classic and it's worth watching. It's messed up.
Boot to the Face just joined us. He said, "What's up, hose?" And then he followed it up with, "What the fuck is on Dez's chin?"
We talked about this. It's a landing strip, a tickler. What did you call it?
It's a flavor saver.
A flavor saver. There you go, man. I eat my wings, and you can.
That's not the flavor that I'm trying to.
I know. I'm just trying to be G. We were going a little bit
G, not even PG. Look, TV14 is back, and I think that Talkamania could be TV14 now.
I think we've always been TV14.
I think we've been a little bit past that.
Yeah, that's kind of why I'm trying to bring it back,
Well, let's bring it back.
The French tickler.
I had something to say, and I completely forget what I was going to say. I am bad for that.
I'll let you think about it. In the meantime, guys, we are Talkamania, and make sure to give us a follow @_Talkamania on Twitter. Check us out on Instagram, Talkamania, and wherever you get your podcasting kicks, Google Play, Podbean, iTunes, all that jazz. You can give us a listen, guys, and make sure to show your support. 5 stars, subscribe, tell your friends, and listen. Google us. You will find us all over that internet.
Yeah, if you were listening to us on Podcoin and you don't know where to find us, like Des said, it's everywhere you can imagine. So just sub on your new favorite podcast player and check us out. If you do listen to Full Press Radio, we air every day at noon. New episodes land Thursday at noon. Check them out at Full Press Radio and at FPC_wrestling. You can check us out at talkamania.com. you can watch us Twitch. Even though I haven't Twitched for a while, it seems like the servers have a lot better. There was some lag issues with Twitch and Apex. I think it's been worked out. So twitch.tv/Talkamaniacs, I'll get back on there and support the show, become a patron, become a best friend, like our good friend, Danny Pond. He is the newest subscriber to Talkamania Premium, and he is the best friend tier. It's the top tier. So,
he's putting my kids through college, man. Thanks, buddy.
so big shout out to Danny Pond. On this episode of Talkamania, this is episode 128. It's a week removed from the debut week of every fucking wrestling promotion in the world. NWA debuted this week. I think Impact's doing some shit. There's a couple other people that announced that they're going to have shows as well. AEW After Dark, whatever the fuck it's called. There is so much.
Yeah, I saw that today too. I'm like, what? Where'd this come from? Came out of the dark.
There's a lot of shit to watch. We're also going to get the studio show from AEW and the studio show from WWE. So, I mean, there's a lot of content.
Especially with like being the elite and road to whatever the show is going to be. That's a lot of stuff coming out, man.
I have to assume that Road 2 is going to be done. It's going to be saved just for the pay-per-views. That'll make sense. Being the Elite will still be there. I haven't checked it out in a while because, honestly, man, this is a lot of fucking content to absorb.
It is.
It's too much. It's too much. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, you don't have to watch it all. And I agree, you don't have to watch it all. But if you are wrestling podcasters like myself and Des, we sort of need to know what's going on with all of it. And it's not always easy.
But with all this content coming out, you feel like, you know what? That's it. I decided. You have to choose one or the other, J-Bomb. You can't like both. You have to like one or the other and none in between. And that is where you lie. Or else, who the fuck are you?
I'm going to only have to watch one. That's the thing. It's going to come down to me only being able to watch a limited amount of content per week. That doesn't mean I'm not going to pay attention to the other stuff or flip back and forth with which one I choose every week. So far, AEW has my attention when it comes to Wednesdays. Wednesdays.
It's the new chick on the block too, man.
Yeah, it's the new chick, but I just feel like it's more my pace.
Well, I think it also kind of gives us a break from WWE. I know NXT is its own brand, but it's kind of like, what's going on in the main roster. You can watch Raw. You can still watch SmackDown. Two huge shows. And those two products are kind of really trying to make some kind of new waves now. So those are ones to tune into and check out. NXT is amazing. But, you can always check that out on another night. They replay it. You can check it on the net and stuff. You have your sources and all that shit. And then you get something fresh. People want to check out AEW. It's brand new. It's putting on some cool stuff, some good programs. It's different. So I see no harm in that. And that's what I fully expected from you as well, too. Me too. I think I'm going to trying to put more attention to AEW. It's another product. It's another meal for my wrestling appetite. And I will still be keeping an eye on NXT, have it on in the background for the foreseeable future. Maybe they'll sway me and win my viewership over more constantly. But I'm with you, man. I think AEW's got something to offer that I'm interested in, and I've been enjoying the ride so far.
Yeah, we got our fact checker that just jumped in the chat. What's up, Justin? How's it going? Let's jump into this. So let's talk about AEW and let's talk about NXT.
Fact checker Justin, what color are my underwear? Right, let's see if he gets it right. Let's see if he gets that right.
If he can check that fact, then we have some fucking issues, Des.
I'm testing him out, man. It's quality assurance.
All right, I'm going to start off with AEW because honestly, to tell you the truth, I didn't watch much NXT tonight. It was harder to go back and forth because AEW just timed their commercials so good. And there's a lot of like picture-in-picture, so I didn't have to walk away from the TV all that much. But anyways, the biggest takeaway, Jericho's promo. Let's talk about Jericho's promo real quick. I was a little bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie. When they all came out, I was a little bit nervous. Honestly, they have a little bit of a weird look. It worked last week. I wasn't sure if it was going to carry over. I'm glad it did. We found out the name of them. We found out the reasons behind it. They're the confidants of Jericho. They've all made the list, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Now, it's a good list. It's a good list. It's a reverse list, yes.
We got the name. They're called the Inner Circle. I love the faction. I think the name is complete trash, but at the end,
it could be worse, man.
It for sure
I was
could be
expecting
worse.
to be something dumb, and I was like, Inner Circle, okay. Well, I guess they're his Inner Circle. Okay. Mm-hmm.
I don't hate it. I just feel like it was like, but I don't care about a name.
They kept it simple, man.
The name's not going to define who they are. I think it's a odd combination of people. I would have never thought that they would come together, but it's working, and I really enjoyed it. I thought his promo was. I'm just happy they did a fucking proper in-ring promo on AEW, and it felt right. It felt good. This is how good promos could be.
Right, and I think with Jericho too, it's like he's the kind of guy you want to send out there and do a promo. He's a veteran. He knows how to cut those, I guess, big promos, like, that can kind of come out and make statements. And I think him going out there was a good thing to do. I think it was the right thing to do, and they needed to do that. I thought, like I said, I that was one thing when I was watching NXT on my big screen. I saw Jericho doing his promo on my tablet. I switched it. I put Jericho on my TV because I wanted to hear what he had to say. And I agree. It's a bit of a weird pairing. I like that he's got Sammy Guevara. I like that's kind of his young underling, and he's kind of looking up to Jericho. He's patting him. He's kind of like that happy-go-lucky dog, like, okay, let's go out there. Let's do it, And then the LAX, right? I'm going to call them LAX. Too bad. They're two goons, man. Not too bad to have those kind of bodyguards. For me, it was the Jake Hager, right? Like, it just felt to me he was awkward the whole time and kind of standing there and out of place. He just kind of looked out of place for me. I guess he's a bodyguard type of character. Yep. But the promo, I mean, like, look, the crowd was cheering "We the People," and it's so funny because the crowd's not cheering it to troll him. They're like, "We're with you, Jack Swagger. We the people. We're still loyal to you." Mm-hmm. And Jericho, and I bet you, like, so then Jericho basically jumps in and says, "You fucking marks, like, stop that shit. It's WWE. It was terrible writing. Like, that's it. We don't do that anymore." So the real test is going to see if they still do it anymore. After Jericho kind of laid the law down there. I think that
it's going to be a lot quieter, that's for sure.
But here's the thing now. I think the Marks are going to reverse the role on it. And instead of being like, we're paying respect to Jack Swagger, the same guy who had been like, "We the People" the week before, will look at the people who are saying "We the People" and be like, ugh, who are you? Yeah. Like, geez, we're not supposed to say that anymore. Like, that's so last week. Fucking Mark.
Yeah, the dynamics of that group works. They got Teenage Heartthrob, Sammy Guevara. They got.
I was gonna say Jericho. Come on, man. That concave chest, like, he's got cleavage.
They got the veteran mouthpiece and AEW World Champion Chris Jericho, who I'm calling God. No more goat. He's the god. He's the god of pro wrestling. I fucking love the guy. And then we got LAX, Santana and Ortiz, which are the tag team of the group. The dynamic is really, really good.
They're one of the best tag teams in the world, man, from what I've seen, at least lately.
Justin in this chat says they could have been called Le Cercle, which is the circle in French. Le Champion, Le Cercle. They would have been good.
I love it, Justin. I think that would have been an amazing idea. I just think a lot of them would have trouble saying it. That's probably what it comes down to. But that would be funny, actually, hearing all the different people trying to say it.
To be fair, Justin makes a good point that they do chant "We the People" in Bellator for Jack Hager.
I think it's out of respect, man. I don't think it should be anything to be shit on. I don't think it should be anything to be shit on. I think they're just saying, like, we don't want a WWE chant being part of this. Like, get your fucking WWE chants out of here. When I think it's out of respect, and they should allow him to do it, man. Let him do it.
Yeah.
If I was Swagger, I'd be like, you know what? I really connected with the fans on that, because he did. Mm-hmm. Even when he was jobbing for the WWE, he would come out, he would do the "We the People." People would say it, man, and they would cheer it. And I think it's a good thing that he was able to establish with the fans, and now they're erasing it, which I don't think is cool for Jake or whatever, Jake's Hager or what. That's it, man. Fuck. Even his name. But I guess WWE owns it, right?
Jack Swagger's a horrible name. Jake Hager is.
It was. It's going to take some time to get used.
And the guy had no fucking swagger in WWE.
He had no swagger. He's had no swagger. Like, look, I'm telling you, when he's out there, he looks awkward. And they're like, he's staring with no soul.
I think it's working.
What's he trying to figure out? Well, even in the main event when he ran in, right? Like, he did it terribly. Like, the ref saw. The ref even turned around and looked at him. I don't know. Like, to me, he hasn't fit in properly into place. And if that is their prize, they're like big debut guy. Oh, we got Jack Swagger. It was very surprising to me because I didn't see it coming, but I'm not that impressed. So win me over, Jake Hager. Win me over.
I don't think it's their big debut. I think it was just a debut. AEW ends well. It ends like how Raw should end. It ends how SmackDown should end.
It was chaotic, man. It was a chaotic end again.
I want pops. I like pops. There was a lot of pops tonight. It was, I don't know, everybody was coming out. But I like it. I really feel like the reason why I'm going to pick them over NXT to watch live on Wednesdays is because there's going to be more spoilers of AEW than there is going to be of NXT. More things could happen. More people can come in because they're newer. That's a huge
It's their
advantage.
only show.
Yeah, and it's their only show. But I'm comparing it to NXT. Forget Raw, forget SmackDown. I'm comparing it directly to NXT. NXT is going to have a harder time drawing people in without everybody knowing who was just signed.
The development talent brand as well too.
Yeah.
So less like less big names. I guess
Don't
you could
tell
say.
that.
There are many
Don't
big
tell
names.
that to them though.
No, I know. I mean, dude, they have a lot of great superstars there, but there are some people. It is also used as development, right? But yeah, I'm not saying I didn't like the ending. It was very chaotic. It was very similar to last week's ending, but I liked it. It was entertaining. Each kind of chain of events was fun and impressive. I liked when Darby came out and with the skateboard came down, hit Jericho. That was cool. No, it was dope, man. I liked the main event. It was great. But look, we're gonna jump over to NXT, and I'm gonna say the main event was Walter and Kushida, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm watching the two of those, and I'm actually a little bit happy that NXT does a little bit of a run over. I imagine they do that so when the fans in the AEW are finished with AEW, they can quickly jump over to NXT and catch a really good match.
Yeah.
Maybe get them hooked into NXT. And dude, man, Walter and Kushida had a friggin' fantastic match tonight. It went on, and I was on the edge of my seat as well too. And I really thought that he was going to get Walter at one point. They both looked really good in the ring, and this is what makes me remember why NXT was so good. The matches that they put on in the ring there's something special about them. And AEW has been great too. I'm just saying that NXT, man, it maybe was my match of the night. Those two, which is I wouldn't have thought sitting here tonight after seeing all the matches that were lined up, Walter and Kushida, I was gonna be like, he'll probably squash Kushida, and it'll be what it'll be. But guys, if you didn't watch that match, check it out. It was really good.
Oh, I'll give credit where credit is due. There wasn't much. I'm not gonna lie. AEW was good. I was entertained for 2 hours. There wasn't much takeaway other than Jericho's promo for me. The rest of the stuff was good. But if NXT is anything like you mentioned, Walter and Kushida, it sounds like that was the match of the night. It sounds like there was a little bit more memorable matches. We got some other stuff at AEW that was somewhat forgettable. I mean, really, the Britt Baker, B. Priestley thing, it's not working for me. Britt Baker doesn't do anything for me in the ring. I feel like she hasn't really proven herself yet. I don't know. Did you get a chance to check out that match?
Yeah, I did. I watched it. I watched the whole match. And I think they're just really high on her. I think they have kind of good long-term plans for her.
Mm-hmm.
I think she can be a prominent woman in that division. Depending on if they get other talent to come on, she could maybe take a push to the side. But I think they do have plans for her. She'll probably be a contender for the title sooner or later, having her tag with Rio. She's the really only person that kind of is attached to Rio now, outside of the whole final with Nyla and Ripley being there and all that stuff too. So having Britt Baker. I don't know why I said Ripley. But I'm just trying to think of all the people that were involved in that title match. She's still kind of paired with her. They picked up their win tonight. We know where they go from here. The two people they were fighting, I don't necessarily see them kind of hanging around too long. But the match itself was enjoyable. I sat here last week saying that the women in the WWE just put in the best matches and the best quality talent. This match was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
I find generally they were pretty good. I did have to go back and look at your claim for the weight, saying that Riho and Kyrie are the same weight. That's not true.
They're like 4 pounds or 5 pounds apart.
Dude, 98 pounds Riho.
Yeah, what's Kyrie?
About 116. So
no, she's not that much difference. She's like 105.
Have you seen this muscle difference? It's the muscle difference.
Yeah, I know.
Sure that's what it is.
You sent me a picture of Kyrie Sane, and she's all jacked. And then I watched her on Raw this week, and she looked like she had pump going on in that photo. That's for sure.
Well, she did just worked out.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
If you look at them when they're on the stage cutting that promo, there's a shot from her back, and you see her shoulders and her arms. It's muscle. But that's a difference. That's a difference, right? I mean,
yeah. There's like a 15-pound difference between the two. I'm just saying.
But at that size,
yeah,
that is a significant difference.
Sure, 15%.
Well, fuck, man. I mean, I don't know. I like Riho. I enjoy her.
I get the significant difference.
Ring.
I'm comparing it to Daniel Bryan versus somebody who's bigger. He's like, let's say Daniel Bryan is 165, 170. He's fighting a guy that's 220. That's a much bigger percentage of difference, and nobody bats an eye at it. That's just what I'm getting.
Well, you know what though? She literally looks like a skeleton when you look at her. Even her underwear looks like you see the pelvic bone. I don't know. It just, I believe that she can be a champion. Just, I guess my issue was with the Nyla match. It might have even been Nyla.
She is the champion.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
maybe it wasn't Nyla. It wasn't. It didn't convince me. So I mean, I digress.
Getting back to the Britt Baker stuff, I thought B Priestley looked the best in that ring in that match. I'm not saying that it wasn't a good match. I'm not saying there weren't good matches on AEW. I just mean if I'm gonna walk away from AEW tonight, I'm gonna talk about something. The only thing I'm really gonna talk about is Chris Jericho and the ending. Like that's the only real big takeaway I got from this episode. Moxley premiered. I guess it was his first sanctioned match in AEW. He took on Shawn Spears. Okay, sure. His attire looked cool. I like how he's going to do something different when he runs in, when he has a hardcore match, and when he's actually having a wrestling match. But ultimately, Shawn Spears picked up a second loss. This guy can't win anywhere.
Well, that's it. And I'm wondering how the point system works here, because we saw it earlier too, Havoc versus Darby Allin, and it's like whoever wins the match has a number one contendership match, but they've both had losses or draws, and it's like, how this point system, how does the contendership work? And at least they played on it a little bit with Pac.
Yeah, that was good.
That's good. They're not like ignoring the fact. But I was interested to hear your opinion on the Moxley Spears match too, because I was really excited to see the match with Moxley. I actually flipped it over into my big screen, and although it wasn't terrible, it wasn't bad by any means. I don't know. I don't know if it's like there's so much going on right now that like Moxley being on the indie scene is kind of like getting to be older news, and he's cooling off. He's still badass. I still like him, but for some reason, I felt like the energy around him wasn't as much there. I don't know. Did you feel that a little bit? Like maybe he'll be cooling off?
Well, I think the 5 weeks off, him missing All Out really hurt his character. His development in AEW. He got a huge pop though when he came out. And honestly, the match was good. Every match was good. They were all good. And it was during that match actually that I said, what makes this better than, Dean Ambrose in WWE matches? And it's just the slight difference in pace. There wasn't a bunch of spots in the Shawn Spears match because they were both WWE guys. It was a very WWE type match. There was just less selling and wait time between moves. It just flowed better, and
it's more aggressive as well.
And it's more aggressive. Of course, it's more aggressive. That goes without saying. Every move, the Boston Crab looks like a Boston Crab now. It doesn't look like you're grabbing the guy's ankle and looking back and going, "Are you okay? Like for real? Like are you okay?"
Yeah.
Like they're like, "Fuck you, bro. This is gonna hurt you a bit." But we're fucking wrestlers, and let's make it look real.
It definitely looks a lot more raw, Yeah,
I like the raw
feeling. Lot less fluff. Yeah, that's it. Like I love when somebody can put in like remember the Walls of Jericho in WCW, like, and then it goes to the Lion Tamer,
yeah.
And then we go to Walls of Jericho, which is just a Boston Crab, right?
Yeah.
And they have those weak Boston Crabs that kind of come out of it, and the guy's just sitting on their ankles.
Mm-hmm. It's like, I think The Rock used to do the sharpshooter, and basically the guy's knees were already on the ground, and he was just holding his ankles.
Yeah, he would just like hold the ankles and just twist them over. Yeah.
Yeah, it was silly. But even a lot of Justin in the chat's talking about, what about Private Party in the Bucks? Honestly, yeah, it was a good opener. There was a lot of energy. But my fear was always with the Bucks is that it's the same moves just on different people. I'm happy that they put Private Party over. I think it was.
I am too.
I think it was the right thing to do.
Yeah, I agree.
But then again, Private Party, I didn't know who they were. 4 matches ago, I know exactly who they are and what moves they're gonna do already. I'm being an ass and saying let's get more innovative, but it's just the same sequences over and over, and I'm not bored with it. I'm entertained by it. I'm impressed by it. It's good. It's just I'm not going to talk about it because I've seen it before. And
they set the bar high for themselves too, because like they go out and do all these flashy moves. So you expect to see all these flashy moves by default. What new are you going to do for me? What more exciting? And I don't know. Whose other finisher will the Young Bucks use? A sharpshooter, rock bottom, a Stone Cold Stunner? I don't know. We'll tune in and find out next week. You'll find out.
And the only other takeaway was the MJF thing at the end for me.
Yeah, that was cool. And they're gonna tease it forever. Him making this heel turn, and it will happen, but it might happen like in a year from now or something, right? It's gonna be a long.
It's gonna be a long time, and I feel like it was kind of written in stone today that he's a face who just is a fucking arrogant prick, and it works for him. But he's a good guy. He's one of the good guys.
Yeah, it works,
and I like it.
He makes it work. Yeah,
he's the little things he does in the ring, little faces he makes. Like he looked at the crowd and he's like, yeah, fucking right, you're cheering me, even though I'm a fucking asshole. Anyways, tell me more about NXT, because I didn't watch it, and I know you got a whole bunch of shit you want to talk about.
All right, so Leo Rush, guys, if you're living under a rock, or maybe you just don't care about Leo Rush and the Cruiserweight Championship, but he pulled it off. The man of the hour made a comeback and won the Cruiserweight Championship against Drew Gulak in a pretty good match. Pretty good, it was good, entertaining. He hit that springboard stunner, hit him with his frog splash on Eddie Guerrero's 52. It would be his 52nd birthday. They were saying.
Is it today? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's great to see. He picks up the win and he completes the comeback, guys. We didn't know where he was, and he was kind of like left on the side. Is he going to come back to WWE? It looks like he's getting his shit together, and maybe they're having another chance for this guy. So check out that match if you didn't see it. That was good to see. We got to see Ripley as well, taking on Aaliyah. That girl can't catch a break, man. She's been there in NXT development for years, and Ripley makes short work of her. And looks like she might be pushed towards the championship picture. Not sure just yet, but it makes me tie in with the match we saw later that night with Bianca Belair and Dakota Kai. Now, Dakota Kai just came back, so it's really cool to kind of see in the ring, the story behind her. She's definitely a lot better this week than before. Not that she wasn't good. I don't think they gave her a lot of time last week, so it was just a bunch of kicks. She impressed me a lot more this week. Still not like hugely over with her, but she definitely did a good job at impressing me this week. And Bianca picked up the win, which I was happy about because I wasn't big on Bianca, but she's been winning me over, and she did over time, and I think she's pretty solid. So having her pick up the win is great. It wasn't predictable either. Watching it being like, oh, Dakota's just going to win again because it's her second match, and she came back after an injury. And then Bianca kind of declared herself wanting to go for the championship. So it might lead off to an awesome match between Ripley and Belair. That could be really cool to see. Maybe other women will have other matches to get involved. They'll do some kind of tournament. Who knows? But good to see these girls getting some time. And I think that's my big takeaways, I guess you could say. Roderick Strong actually had a really good... No, sorry. I don't know. I'm going to go back. The match of the night for me, Walter Kushida, is very close contendership to Roderick Strong and Isaiah Scott. Sorry, my writing is terrible. And I'm only learning this guy, so there you go, guys. Like I saw a match with him earlier, a few weeks back. Saw him tonight. Put on a hell of a match, man. So if it's worth checking, check that out. Really good back and forth. I like the style that Roderick Strong wrestles as well too. And then Velveteen coming out, issuing the challenge to Roderick Strong in 2 weeks for the North American Championship. So we'll have that rematch in 2 weeks, guys. And Ciampa coming out and saying, Goldie, Daddy's home.
Ooh.
So it looks like he'll be challenging Adam Cole for that title in the near future.
Was Finn Balor on the program tonight?
They talked about him, saying he's in NXT, what's he going to do, who knows, yada, 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 showing some history. It's not quite clear just yet. He did tease towards taking on Adam Cole last week, so who knows? Maybe he gets involved in a three-way or something to that matter. We'll see.
Yeah, I getting back to the Dakota Kai, that was probably the match I caught the most of. There was still a shitload of kicks. It was kick this, kick that.
She's kick heavy.
She did look better than she did last week. I guess the emotions were running high. The energy, just probably adrenaline was probably pumping. But while the match was going on, Rucker sent out a tweet saying, I don't get everyone's love for Dakota Kai. Is it only me that doesn't like her? And there's just something about Dakota Kai that I'm just not relating to. We mentioned it before we went on air. She looks like she could be Bayley's sister. I don't know if it's
a very big Bayley recipe going with her, I feel.
I don't know if maybe that's it because I'm not a huge fan of Bayley. But she did look good in ring tonight. But I did notice that you really do take a while to like somebody, but it seems like everybody kind of wins you over eventually.
I guess if they put in the hard work, and I think they're delivering well. I mean, I don't know.
If
like
you
they can kind of win me over to certain degrees and stuff, not like completely or here or there. I don't know. I remember how much I used to hate Nia Jax too. I was always beating up on her week after week after week.
I feel bad if you have a daughter, if she ever brings a guy home, because it's going to take you a while to warm up to that dude. I'll tell you that. And vice versa. If you have a son, I bet you're going to be one of those dads that's like, I don't know about him after your first meeting. That's just the sense I get.
A lot of inappropriate jokes floating through my head.
Okay, let's move on to some news from WWE. I want to talk about Cain Velasquez and Tyson Fury. It seems like WWE again is bringing in household names to kind of boost ratings, to kind of get storylines going. Yeah, we know that it's going to be happening in Saudi Arabia now. Kane's legit. Let's be honest. He's wrestled in CMLL. He's wrestled in a couple of indie promotions. We've seen what he can do in the ring. Tyson Fury. Like, is this going to work? I know, even though it's in Saudi, is this going to work?
They might do a boxing match.
Is that the rumor going around?
I don't know, man. I'm thinking if you want this to succeed the best, do a boxing match. Braun can just box and get knocked out or aimlessly do whatever, but like, no, I don't think if it's a wrestling match that Fury can hang in there with Braun. I mean, even like I came home, so I missed Raw live this week, and I came home late. I put it on, and in the last 15 minutes, these guys in the ring brawling for like 15 minutes, almost back and forth. And like, that's our main event of Raw. Like, they're really kind of doing this thing. We talked about this last time they went to Saudi Arabia, that they just forget about storyline and direction for the 2 weeks before they go to Saudi Arabia, and just have Saudi Arabia stuff going on, blah, 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 blah. That's what's going to happen, and then reset, and then we kind of go forward. And I guess it's fortunate that we have the draft coming up, but, you know, I don't know. I don't know if this is something that can go past Saudi Arabia. So I guess if that was going to be a kind of raised to question, I think it's going to be a payoff, right? They're going to crown Jewel. They want to have this obscure match. You know, the Saudis want to pay for these kind of like dream matches or whatever they want to have. I don't know if they're picking this guy because he's tied in with sports and Fox and stuff. I don't know. I don't know where he's come from. It kind of caught left field for me. I don't know why they picked this guy. I don't know much about him. I know he's a boxer.
He's a heavyweight champion. I think he's undefeated, and I think he's like a popular guy on social media.
I think Braun could bend this guy in half when I look at him. But
I think if it was
a boxing match, he beat Braun.
I think if it's any match, I think a boxer will always beat anybody. Boxers, they'll fuck you up.
Yeah, I guess.
But I could see Braun if the guy can pick him up.
I'm just looking at their arms, and it's like the guy doesn't have, like, the arms aren't massive.
Technique, though. Technique and fighting, true fighting ability. The guy's trained his entire life. Braun Strowman's trained, but he's just, he's practiced. He's picked up weights.
But can he run the ropes?
I can't wait to see people that like don't run the ropes normally run the ropes. It's extremely fun to watch. So I know a lot of people are, call it blood money, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it. Guys, get over it. It happens.
Shogi money.
It happens. It's a spectacle. I don't give a shit where it is. I don't use WWE as a political crutch, so I don't really give a shit about those opinions. So I'm going to watch Crown Jewel. It's on a Friday at work, so I'm going to slack off. I'm going to gift the shit out of it. I'm going to have a good time with it. But can either of these two storylines...
Working from home.
Oh, you lucky guy. Can either of these storylines survive past Saudi Arabia?
No. Cain Velasquez, maybe. Fury, I don't really see a reason for it. It seems like a big, just one match kind of deal for me. Cain Velasquez, so I got to give WWE credit for kind of pulling this together. But at the same time, I would feel like this would be something more centered towards a Universal Championship. Having somebody come in who hasn't wrestled one match and putting him in a WWE title match, I don't like that.
It's questionable. I understand that.
That title has so much history.
Title doesn't need to be on.
I have a lot of respect for Cain Velasquez, but putting him in a WWE title match, I have to think Brock Lesnar's going to win this match. Because if Cain Velasquez wins the WWE title, Paige has contendership in terms of my dislike for just disrespecting championship belts.
Oh God, yeah. I just realized what you were saying. Justin in the chat just corrected us. It's on a Thursday. It's on Halloween, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's a Thursday. But regardless, I'll be at work. Yeah, I get that. That's why Kofi Kingston didn't need to have that match with Brock Lesnar. This is the point I'm trying to make. You mentioned it that when Crown Jewel pops up, when the Saudi show pops up, WWE kind of throws all the storylines out. Now this is going to fuck them hard because we have the draft coming up this Friday and then the remainder of the draft the following Monday. And then there's still like almost 2 weeks until the Saudi show. Mm-hmm. So what the fuck are they going to do during those 2 weeks? Because there's a fresh start, the reboot, the draft, the complete separation of the two brands, and they're going to be fucking stuck for 2 weeks because of this Crown Jewel show.
I think the draft actually works in their favor because it's kind of like takes up time and it's storyline fodder. So it's kind of like, look, we see even this past week with Charlotte, Becky, and they're just kind of in this tag team match, and I love it. I love seeing them go against the Kabuki Warriors. Super cool. But next week, what happens? Oh, there's the draft. So then like one gets drafted the other, one gets drafted the other. They have like 1-2 weeks of settling in, and then we start heading towards another pay-per-view. So then they can start building storylines. So I find the draft happening kind of happens, Saudi Arabia happens, and then it kind of breaks it up with enough time that they can use that as a crutch to kind of tie them over to post Saudi storylines.
What's after Saudi Arabia? Is it Survivor Series? Is that the next WWE pay-per-view? Because if it is, we are so fucked. Because the storylines leading into Survivor Series are almost as bad as the storylines heading into a show like Crown Jewel.
I mean, look, they put their last pay-per-view together in 4 seconds.
But it was good. It was really good.
I was saying that too. People were complaining about that, and I mean, I kind of was complaining about it myself. But in the end, the pay-per-view actually wasn't bad.
It turned out to be pretty good. Sticking with the Cain Velasquez and Tyson Fury, crossovers used to be a thing that WWE fans really they took it well. And it seems like crossovers now is like the cardinal sin. I don't know where pro wrestling fans became on such a high pedestal lately. Cain Velasquez is a fucking athlete. He's an MMA superstar. He's a household name if you're a sports fan. Not only just an MMA fan, but if you are a sports fan, not just a pro wrestling fan, he's a household name. To have a guy come over like this to the WWE is huge. It's good for pro wrestling. Tyson Fury, I understand that's a bit frustrating, but we kind of need these things every so often. I'm just surprised they're doing it for Crown Jewel and not WrestleMania. I could see this being better for WrestleMania. But what's your take on crossovers these days?
If they're done right, I don't mind them. Like, look, Ronda Rousey worked. You want to shit on her, whatever you want, it worked. She came in, she worked her ass off, she put on a big main event, and she helped push the women's division. Wasn't just her. It could have happened longer term without her, but she was very, very important, and she did a good job. I don't think Cain Velasquez is going to have a long run like Ronda Rousey, but I think he's going to do a good job. And the guy can wrestle. He can do a decent job. He's picking it up very fast, and just give him a chance. I think a lot of you guys are really going to enjoy what you get out of this. Is it going to go past Crown Jewel? I don't know. Rumor is he has not signed a contract. So I think right now it's set to be a one and done. But who knows? Money talks, and maybe they'll be able to lock him up. They're not going to want him to go to AEW, that's for sure. So they're going to do what they can to lock him down. So I really don't mind as long as it's done right and done logically, and it makes sense.
If Cain Velasquez shows up in AEW, let's say 1 month after Saudi Arabia, if he doesn't sign with WWE, the same people who were shitting on Cain Velasquez coming into WWE and stealing someone's spot are going to fucking lose their minds and pop so hard, and immediately we're going to get some Jack Hager versus Cain Velasquez bullshit that everyone's going to fucking love. Now, I'm going to love it too, but I also love Cain Velasquez coming into WWE. Justin tweeted to us before I read any other rumors that how cool would it be if Cain Velasquez came to be the weight for Rey Mysterio. And honestly, when I read it, I was like, I think I even replied. I said, that would be sick. Never will happen. And then it happened, and I was like, holy fucking shit. It's poetic, man. That story wrote itself. I agree. I don't like that it's the WWE title, though.
I just want to say I'm pretty sure I brought it up on our show as well.
Yeah, but he tweeted that like 5 days before we recorded.
Oh, okay.
It was like the day. Anyways, it was the day after our last show. He tweeted us.
I think just kind of looking at how Mysterio was and his Mexican heritage, and I guess the rumors floating around with Cain Velasquez, it kind of was somewhere where they could go. So definitely kudos to Justin for that. I think it was pretty cool that that's ended up being the reality. And I guess, man, we'll see what we get out of it. At least it's going to be a crown jewel, a pay-per-view where most people don't tune in if they don't like it. And if you don't like it, don't tune in. And I don't know. I think it'll be okay. We'll see what happens, man. But I expect Brock Lesnar's got to pull out a win. There'll be a funny finish or something. Is Kane really going to walk away with the championship?
No,
I don't know, man.
He's not.
I don't know.
There's no way. It'd be a huge fucking mistake. Justin also pointed out that next week on AEW Dark, which is next Tuesday, Kenny Omega, Joey Janela, half-hour banger. So
Oh,
that
I
was
heard about that.
that's
I
what was
heard
going
about it.
on.
I didn't know when to watch it. So how does this work? When do we watch AW Dark?
Tuesdays. I think it airs on TNT, but it airs on YouTube as well. So anytime after it airs live or whatever the hell, not live, but
It's what, like a mini like Sunday Night Heat kind of style show or something?
it's
or?
just the dark matches from Dynamite. That's what it is. The matches that happened before and that happened.
Yeah, I
after.
saw that and I was like, man, why would they put that on a dark match? I'd love to see Omega and Janela.
Yeah, where the hell has Janela been? Let's get him back on TV.
Well, I mean, they can't have everybody every week, right? So I think they're kind of rotating them in, rotating them out.
It's Joey Janela.
I know.
We love the guy.
I want to party all the time, man. What the fuck?
You know, I'm gonna go hate tweet after. I miss Joey Janela. Give Joey Janela a chance. Hashtag. Blah, blah,
Hashtag beer.
All right. So if you are watching live in the chat, this is the awkward moment where we are going to put a sponsored advertisement in here for from our good friends over at mybookie.ag. It's a pre-recorded one. We're not going to play it on the live chat, but if you're listening on audio, we'll. How am I going to transition to there? That's a good question.
Insert commercial here.
What was the last thing? Joey Janela? All right, guys. Let's move on. Before we get into Hell in a Cell and the Lana.
Before we get into Hell in a Cell, J-Bomb, tell them all about the money that you were able to win by placing a bet.
Oh, actually,
you
that's
placed
true.
a bet and you won. So it actually dreams can come true, folks. You can bet on wrestling and you can win money.
Yeah. No, I picked up some cash betting on Becky Lynch at Hell in a Cell. I broke even on the Seth Rollins. I picked Seth Rollins winning over The Fiend. It was a no contest. So there was no winner, no loser. So the bet was just canceled, which was freaking fantastic.
The loser was the internet community burning down.
Let's get there. But before we do, guys, here's an advertisement from our friends over at mybookie.ag. All right, guys, welcome back to the show. Okay, let's get into it. The internet blew up post Hell in a Cell. We talked about it on our post show. If you want to take a look at that, patreon.com/Talkamania. For as little as $1, you could listen to all of our post show reactions. But the WWE Twitter universe absolutely exploded. Everybody canceled their WWE subscriptions because the match didn't end the way that they wanted it to. And Dez, I want to get your take on what you thought. For the listeners who don't subscribe to Podbean, Patreon, let's talk about it briefly.
Sure, no problem. So like we said earlier, Hell in a Cell actually turned out to be a pretty good pay-per-view. People melted down after the main event. For me, I was watching it, and I was I was glued on the TV set because it was a very unorthodox match. Very different than normal recipe. I think this will still be a match people talk about for years to come. You know, he starts hitting finishers, kicks out at one, curb stomp, pedigree. He did a chair shot right on his head, splat. Starts smacking him with weapons all in the head, and he's still kicking out at one. I was just like, what is this? Like, first of all, part of me is like, well, this is stupid. You know, he's kicking out at one after I like murder. But I was also very interested in what they were trying to do here and where they were going and building Bray Wyatt into this fiend, into this monster, right? This is something they'd never done before. So I was interested. Was I upset they ended the match in a kind of a no contest? Yeah, of course. I would have liked to see a winner. But who is your winner? You know, they did back themselves into a corner here. Seth can't necessarily lose. Well, I guess he could have, but you can't have Bray Wyatt lose. So my big thing was, I understand why people were upset, but then they started booing, chanting AEW, which I thought was pretty petty. I mean, like, if you go watch it then. Like, why are you here?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Don't shit on it.
Thanks for your money.
I just think that was a little bit unclassy. But it's okay to to boo and want the match to be restarted. You came all the way there from wherever you want to see a finish to this match. Maybe there'll be a big payoff. I think fans are a little bit they're a little bit selfish. They want what they want in the moment. They're very fickle. We talked about that. Daniel Bryan said it himself. But I found myself kind of like seeing how bad things got on social media. Like, what were they really upset about? Was it that it ended in a no contest? Was it that it hurt the Fiend character, which I don't 100% understand how they think it hurt him? It made him look like on a whole nother level than anybody else. Is it like what is it exactly? Why were people that upset? Was it the no finish?
Okay. I didn't like the no finish. It was quickly pointed out to me from Take the Bump, what up, Brad, that last year's Hell in a Cell also ended in a no finish.
How did that happen? What was the?
Brock Lesnar showed up and beat the shit out of Braun Strowman with a broken table, and they declared that he couldn't continue the match, and the match just didn't have an ending. But
Interesting.
This is where I'm thinking. I think it was a lot to digest. I think it was a shitload of information.
It was a lot. You hear me just talk? How much I just talked there?
It was a shitload of information to digest. And I think fans didn't know how to take it. And they're so used to being negative that it just went right to there. Like, there were moments in that match where I was like, kind of rolling my eyes. But ultimately, when it ended with the Fiend mandible clawing Seth with the blood everywhere.
It was fucked up.
And then the Fiend at the top underneath the Titantron, and then the fade to black ending. In that moment, I was like, "Shit! If this is legitimately a long story book, like a long story that they're gonna tell, this video package is gonna look phenomenal down the road."
I'm a little bit like I'm really kind of like not scared to kind of come out and say it, but like I didn't dislike the match. I didn't like. I think it could have been better. I would have liked to see a finish. What I'm trying to say is I don't get the extreme, I guess, hate that this is getting.
Okay, listen. I get that you came, you paid money. Justin's talking about, you paid money to get tickets. It was a dusty finish. He'd be pissed too. But how I look at it is this.
Dude, you saw him attempted murder in the ring.
That, whatever. I think the no finish is what really pissed everybody off. And I also think that they expected a pro wrestling match. But what you have to understand is that Bray Wyatt right now, he's not a pro wrestler. This guy is a gimmick. He's a fucking gimmick. Gimmicks are super hard to have today with the way that the whole landscape of pro wrestling, the whole landscape of sports entertainment, we don't necessarily enjoy gimmicks. Who cares? He doesn't need a title. He doesn't need to win fucking matches. None of that should matter to Bray Wyatt. He's a fucking demon. So just let this happen. And if you don't like it, that's cool. But I mean, to go as far as saying WWE is never going to be the same again, this changed the landscape of wrestling, Bray Wyatt's character is ruined, Seth Rollins finished. Like, fuck, chill out, bros. Chill out.
Like I was saying, man, it'd be cool if you let him out the funhouse and then you got to get him back in and you got to pin him to do it. And he couldn't get the job done, so he'll continue to wreak havoc, cause terror among everybody until somebody finally puts him down. And then eventually someone summons him back out again by letting him in or lighting a lantern or something. I just think, man, even watching this, I'm just like, oh, it could actually tie really well into that because it's just that hard to put him back in the funhouse. Man. But
again, for me, it's this gimmick thing. It's going to take some time before Bray Wyatt could be a human and put on a pro wrestling match.
Well, they're not letting him be human. If he can kick out at one after everything he went through, like they're doing something special with him.
Yeah, but go back and watch
really...
The Undertaker. Go back and watch his first few matches, his first few runs, his first few pay-per-view matches. They were all gimmick matches against Giant Gonzalez and larger than life people, and it was the same thing. He would get.
Was that such a bad thing?
No, it was.
You're still a prominent name and making millions of dollars.
That's what I'm getting at. I think people just need to relax, take some time, and that brings me to my next point. It seems like the WWE is taking some different approaches. We're seeing sort of a new face from the storytelling. Lana and Lashley, for example, people are not enjoying this. They're getting offended as well. The point that I'm trying to make is, are these becoming long-term stories that we have to learn how to, get used to? Or is this, lazy creative, little short snippet stories just with more edge?
To me, it feels like a lazy attitude era angle. I'm not against them pushing towards an edgier content at all, obviously. But I felt like this one started out of nowhere. There's like no lead up to it. Rusev was back. Where's Lana? No real. Oh, he's with Lashley. Like, well, what happened? Like, did Lashley hang out during the time off? Like, were they both off with each other? Like, where did this come from? And they're being so cruel to Rusev, right? It's like they're in his house, which doesn't look like a house. It looks like a hotel. And
that's his actual house, by the way.
Well, then they live in a hotel.
Yeah, the red walls are weird. But, yeah.
And she's like, oh, and I changed all the accounts to my name and all this. First of all, he'd have to sign off on that shit, bitch. I know how that stuff works. And it's not that simple. So I feel like very lazy in that sense. So
Dude,
I don't
we
know.
just said how much we like the Fiend, and now we're using logic when it comes to bank accounts. Come on, man. Let's get on.
I don't know.
Let's
I just
choose a
find it
side.
lazy. And like of all people, like I never thought Bobby Lashley. I was like, man, he's never had a good storyline, and what's he gonna come back to? They won't have anything for him. And him himself is like, geez, what am I gonna come back to? He gets the fucking jackpot. He gets to make out with Lana. Like that's pretty cool, man. So he's lucky to get in that position. She's on TV. I'm sure they both were like, look, I guess we want to be on TV, so let's just do it. Maybe they told Rusev, look, we're gonna fuck you hard on TV one more time, and then you're out of the doghouse. And if that's the case, awesome. I hope there's a big payout in this. I hope it involves Rusev Day. That's just me dreaming. But I don't know. I don't know why. I don't get what's going on with this storyline. And it is a bit cringy, but
Are you
know,
are you gonna cancel your subscription on it?
I'm going to cancel the subscription that I don't have. Yes.
That's kind of where I'm getting at. It's just chill, guys. Man.
Oh yeah, chill out too. I don't care. I can watch it, and like I'm interested to see where it goes. And man, it puts Rusev on TV, so I'm happy with that at least.
It's something new. It's something different. Justin in the chat says, yeah, it's edgier, sure, but it helps to be logical too. And I think he's still talking about the Bray Wyatt stuff. Dude, the whole point of the story was the attack on him was so bad that they had to stop a Hell in a Cell match because they went too far.
So bad.
And then he just got up and he was fine. So when people say that they burnt the Fiend and they ruined his character,
dude, he looked so strong.
So strong.
Yeah, that's what I didn't get. That's why I was kind of like, what are they really mad about? Is it the no DQ, like the no DQ thing? Okay, I kind of get that. They almost kind of gave us a heads up by putting that poll out too, right? That you had mentioned, like who's gonna win, Bray, Seth, or disqualification? The fans were like, what? What is this? What are you saying? So it's kind of like they kind of led us up to it. But yeah, I hope they learned their lesson. It could have been a little bit of a cleaner finish, I guess.
There was some confusing elements to it, but ultimately it wasn't enough to make me fucking rage and, go murder my
I think
family.
the ref even called him by his real name too. Like, you're going too far. Think about what you're doing, Colby.
Is that what he
like,
said?
Oh, you said my real name.
Now that's enough for me to cancel the fucking network. Justin's got a question for you. He says, what if that was the storyline? What if creating creative fucking over Rusev behind the scenes is a storyline to break the fourth wall?
I think that would work. I think it'd be great. I'm down.
I'm fucking
Do it.
down. Okay, let's talk about the good things from Hell in a Cell. Oh, no, sorry. I thought that was good anyways. Let's talk about the really good things from Hell in a Cell. Let's be honest. Let's give credit where credit is due. That pay-per-view opened up with the match of the night. Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks. My hats are off. We've talked so much shit about Sasha Banks on this podcast. Me especially. Dude. They fucking rocked it. They were innovative. They were creative. They did stuff inside the cell that wasn't just a huge spot fest. It was simpler things with a little bit more innovation, and it really went over well for me. I thought it was Sasha Banks' best match in the WWE.
We'd have to look back and take a look at her resume of matches. Definitely for me as well, too, was the match of the night. These two women delivered on many levels. Very innovative, like you said. Hard work, man. Like it was solid. It was a very solid match. And the look after when Sasha ended up tapping out onto the steel chairs in the disarmor, went up to the ramp and gave this look to Becky, and it was like, oh girl, like that perfect look. And that image is gonna be like in montages and shit of her just looking with like a broken heart and like I didn't get it done. And now what's next? The only thing coming out of it is we're hearing Sasha's injured again.
For realsies?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And I don't think it's major, but she's out for now. And we do know that she tends to be injury prone. She's a little bit smaller, right? So, like, I guess it's a little bit easier to get injured. And she ragdolls. She sells hard, She works hard when she sells, I guess. But, yeah, we'll see what's next. What happens for Becky Lynch in her championship? There is this period we just talked about, Crown Jewel. Like, what's going to go on with Becky and her title? They have some time to build a little bit of a gap into the next storyline. So maybe Sasha will end up and come and get that belt finally. I don't know. But like you said, for me, fantastic match. One of the matches of the night. The match of the night, in my opinion. So good job, Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks.
While we're talking about Becky, Justin in the chat says, they kind of finally let off the gas on the whole Becky and Seth as a couple story. And, they're letting Becky get back in the limelight. And she's back to being over as fuck.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah, it was great.
And if you guys do want to check out some more talk about Hell in a Cell, you can join patreon.com/Talkamania for as little as $1 a month, and you could hear a whole in-depth conversation post Hell in a Cell. And we also talked about the debut of Friday Night SmackDown on Fox. Super easy listen, 30 minutes. Patreon. Let's talk about the WWE draft coming up. When you send over your notes, you had some questions, and the big one for me is what's going to happen with Becky Lynch and Charlotte. Becky being Raw champion, Charlotte being SmackDown champion. Are they going to split them up? Can they somehow exchange titles? If they get drafted to opposite brands, can they just simply change titles with one another?
That'd be stupid. That would shit on the titles. It's funny. It may be funny to like, okay, here you go. Nice to meet you. Good business deal. But no, I don't think so. I think honestly, to me, I see Becky red brand. I see Charlotte blue brand. I think they should keep them separate and have them run each show and be the top dog there. Otherwise, it's going to be, Raw's always going to be about them or SmackDown's always going to be about them. And I think it could be a good way to help develop the talent around them. We'll see what happens. They're working together a lot these days, tagging. I feel like it may lead to an eventual tag team title reign between these two girls. It seems inevitable they'll have these titles. So we'll see. Watch out, Kabuki Warriors.
But they're going to split them. Ultimately, they're going to have to split them now. One's going to win Raw.
I hope that's the case. That's it. So I guess they're going to maybe have to. Maybe that's it. Because the draft starts on Friday, right? So
I'm honestly, I don't know I don't know if they're going to take Becky and keep her on Raw and have Raw, Becky's show and SmackDown Charlotte's show. But you got to think going forward that SmackDown is the bigger of the two. And I feel like it's going to be a real shot at Becky. I'm talking backstage here, if she's left out of that for all the work that she's done.
I have a feeling that the champions aren't going to be draftable. The Raw and SmackDown champions.
Fuck.
I feel like it's just kind of, it makes it more interesting. It makes it more people who can get drafted. And it's like, let's just keep it simple. You're the Raw champion. You stay on Raw. You're SmackDown champion. You stay on SmackDown.
Okay, so then Becky loses the title 4 months down the line. She's still on Raw, though.
Yeah, that's the roster you're on.
So then you can't be drafted. It's just... Okay.
Unless they decide to do a twist. They're like, oh, by the way, I was never drafted. And then, oh, she turned up on SmackDown. Whoa, crowd, we want to boost ratings.
They could do something like that. Did you look and see if Survivor Series is the next pay-per-view?
It is.
Okay. What about a unification of the titles between Becky and Charlotte?
Maybe. I don't know if they do that at Survivor Series. I think they want to have them as very separate brands. So if they want to have them very separate brands, they're not going to be unifying any titles.
This is good. I know it's going to sound petty and shit, but I'm going to be really disappointed if Becky's not on fucking SmackDown. I really am going to be disappointed with it. I feel like it's her show. She was drafted there. She was the first SmackDown champion. They got to find a way from now till then to swap it. They got to figure something out for me.
All right, WWE, you're listening. 'Cause I know you listen every week to this podcast. J-Bomb's calling it, man. Give her that damn title. Make things right with the world.
Things do need to be right, man. Okay, so if you're thinking that the champions stay put, then it would be safe to say that the Universal title stays on Raw?
I don't know if that's going to have to be so set in stone because it's not like Raw champion, SmackDown champion.
Okay.
So maybe there is wiggle room to move around there. I don't know how in depth they want to go, if they want to keep consistency there. Then you look at the tag team titles. I guess Raw and SmackDown will stay on Raw and SmackDown.
Who is the tag team titles? Who are the tag champions right now? That's a shame.
We have Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode.
They're still Raw champs?
Yeah.
Who's SmackDown?
And
is it New Day? No, didn't they lose to Fuck the Revival?
The New Day have them or the Revival have them? One of those teams have them.
I'm not doing this to put you on the spot. I'm doing this because that's how fucking horrible that tag team division is right now.
Yeah, man. What I'm saying is, man, have an episode of Miz TV. He's doing this shit. John Morrison comes out. They reunite the tag team. They have a tag team run. The storyline, that's 2 months, 3 months right there. then had them feud into WrestleMania or something, and then you had the Miz versus Morrison. Maybe not WrestleMania, but at least you have the payoff there. Miz goes back to being a heel, and all is right with the world yet again.
I don't know where they're gonna go with this, man. There's a lot of stuff that can happen. It's interesting. I'm interested in it. That's for sure. I enjoy the draft. I'm looking forward to the draft. I think it's gonna be a fun time. Oh shit! I forgot to mention when we were talking about Hell in a Cell. Apparently, Bray Wyatt suffered a concussion.
Yeah, I heard he got an injury, but I didn't hear the details of what that injury was. Any notes on like what happened when it happened, or just was it legit Seth Rollins sledgehammer and they're using that as an angle?
I don't know if it was because I was listening to the Joe Cronin show. Actually did an interview with Cody Rhodes and Brandy, and he was asking Cody what he thought about AEW chants during the main event of Hell in a Cell. And Cody, before getting into it, he just said, "Look, one of my good friends, got hurt in the match, blah blah blah." And that's why I was surprised because I know he doesn't like Seth Rollins. So I went and checked it out, and I was surprised to hear that Bray Wyatt got hurt because didn't he run a dark match on SmackDown?
He came
On
out of
Raw.
Cesaro, but it's like one of my good friends who got hurt. Like, are they really good friends? Like,
I don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
IRS and Dusty were like.
I like that Cody takes the high road, but sometimes he takes the high road.
He never
right?
takes the high road, dude. Sorry, in character, he never takes the high road, and that's fair.
Okay. I just sometimes he's just like, oh, I won't comment on that, but then like he'll kind of like do it in a way that's like because I'm better than you kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's like a humble brag, but
I love the guy though. He's a great guy. So
But anyways, I was just surprised, and I think it's true because why would Cody have mentioned it if it was a work?
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. Speaking about Cody Rhodes, when the lights went out on AEW, I know we're jumping around a little bit here, but when the lights went out on AEW and it was Cody Rhodes, like I fucking love the guy. To me, he's the biggest name in the company, but I was a little bit like, dude, what the fuck are the lights going out for you?
I thought it was gonna be a debut of somebody else.
Me
I'd be like,
too.
oh, they stole somebody else. They got somebody else. I was like, oh no. It's like, okay, I guess you couldn't have just run down like.
For a company, and not to talk shit about them, but I'm going to talk a little bit of shit about them. For a company who said that they don't want to make success or make a name for themselves based on another company's success, pretty much every match, other than a couple on tonight's AEW, all were featured around WWE dudes.
Yeah, it's true.
They're pretty heavy into it. But Dustin Rhodes looked fucking phenomenal. I just got to say that too.
Yeah, he looked good. Good shape, man.
I don't remember him being that good in WWE in his later days.
Well, he wasn't able to get the chance. Go in there and just do your and then get jobbed out too.
All right, so we're getting near the nitty gritty here. Before we wrap it up, for Crown Jewel, there's a Team Hogan versus Team Flair. Have the teams been determined yet?
No. I think that's kind of going forward right now. We're going to find out more info. I think we have Randy Orton and Baron Corbin on one team. That's why we've been seeing them hanging around a lot together and be kind of giddy schoolgirls. And then Rusev and Seth Rollins on the other one, as far as I believe.
Rusev?
Funny how Miz wasn't invited to the Flair team right off the bat. It's like, hey, I gave you my finisher. We're supposed to be meaning so much to each other. Be on my team. No. I'm just going to keep doing Miz TV. Telling you, man, Miz needs to go back to being a heel. He has been irrelevant since.
The Miz has been irrelevant since. I was thinking about The Miz the other day. I forget what match I was watching. I was thinking about payoffs. And it might have been during the Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns versus Harper and Rowan. And I was just thinking, fuck, did they miss on The Miz versus Daniel Bryan? That could have been a WrestleMania
100%.
feud. Like, that could have gone so far. We could have gotten Brie. We could have gotten Marie involved because they actually have beef in real life. Like, there was a lot of things that we could have gone into that we really just didn't. It just sizzled away so quickly.
Yeah, I know. They really missed the mark on that. And speaking of Harper, did you see what he changed his Twitter bio to?
Yeah, well, first of all, I know I saw somebody post a picture. Those DMs have been open since he asked for his release. And I think that's why he got in shit from WWE, right?
Maybe, but I mean, that hasn't been his comment on his profile.
No, his profile was DMs are open and flowing or something, whatever it's written. I actually DM'd him. When he asked for his release, I was hoping he was going to get his release. So I was like, hey, dude, come on our podcast. Obviously, he never replied, but he added the second line I guess today, and then
He came back on the TV. We talked it out, man. I was like, dude, you got to suck it up. You got to go back on TV. Yeah, we need you. And he's like, man, I don't know, man. Like, I've been really down in the dumps. It's like, fans want it, man. He's like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take my chance, and I'm gonna call up my buddy Rowan and see if he needs some backup. It's all me, man. You're welcome.
That's pretty much it. Anything you want to add before we wrap things up, Des?
No, man. Just really happy to be here another week with you guys, listening, tuning in. NXT, AEW. It's a lot of wrestling coming our way in one day. We have SmackDown on Fox coming up on Friday, guys. It'll be the first day of the draft. So you'll start seeing where your superstars end up, and I think they're going to keep it to these separate shows for at least for the foreseeable future. So no more wild card, no more crossover, but something to look forward to wrap your week up, guys. So make sure to check it out, and we'll be talking about it next week along with our weekly episodic content. Make sure to tune in, and until then, guys, a happy Rusev Day.
And just before we get going, we let you go. This Friday, I'm going to be recording with Boot to the Face. We're doing a roundtable. It's going to be dropping Saturday on Boot to the Face podcast channel. We're going to be discussing things with the boys from Boot to the Face and the Irish Whip podcast. If they're cool with it, I'm going to try and throw it up on our Patreon page as well. And I'm going to plug the patrons real quick. Evan Gomez, Smart to Death, and our new best friend, Danny Pond. Guys, if you want to support the show, head on over to patreon.com/Talkamania. You'll get some bonus content, some merch, some perks, some fun stuff. It's as little as $1 a month. Danny joined the party. He's a top-tier supporter for the show. Danny, your merch is being set up as we speak. Get to Montreal. Let's drink some beer. Let's talk some shit. You've already said Happy Rusev Day, so on behalf of myself, I'm out. Des, bye.
I say it again. A happy Rusev Day. Da.
Peace, chat.